What?
Welcome back to the First, the Last, the Nerdom, the show where we explore the first, the last, and everything in between across the vast and twisted world of nerd and pop culture. This week, we're continuing our special series where we like to call Binge-worthy. Series where, anyway, where we take a TV show that's caught our attention, watch the first 3 episodes, and decide if it's worth devouring the rest or leaving on the table. And this time, we're dining on something exquisite. Hannibal. Damn you, Tom. Bryan Fuller's 2013 reimagining of Thomas Harris's world of murder, psychology, and fine dining. A show that dared to mix horror with art house beauty, transforming crime scenes into symphonies of color and madness. It's elegant, it's disturbing, and it's one of the most visually stunning and unsettling shows to ever grace network television. I agree. We're talking about the chemistry between Mads Mikkelsen's chilling composed Dr. Hannibal Lecter, that version, and Hugh Dancy's fragile yet brilliant Will Graham. The show's haunting score and how it blurs the line between the monstrous and the divine. So pull up a seat at the table, pour yourself a glass of Chianti. Pathetic. Or something darker, and join us as we take our first 3 bites into Hannibal. The question is, after tasting the first course, will we be hungry for more? This is the First, the Last, the Nerdom, and tonight we're asking, is Hannibal truly binge-worthy?
Yes. All right.
Yes, sir.
This is the one that I brought to the table, so to speak. It was a favorite, still is a favorite of mine. So I wanted to expose everybody to it. Had you partaken in this before?
I never. I wasn't even aware, to be honest. And then not back when this was on, I had no clue. You know, in the 2020s, us talking about it, doing, yes, I was. You made me aware of it. I didn't go out and, I mean, I put it on the list, but I wasn't. And I'm so happy that we got to do this one. And I do want to pay the bills really quick before we get going into the main thing. We are the First, Last Nerdom. As I said, this is our website where you can find the last 10 episodes. I gotta refresh the page here of what we put out here. There we go, Man Bites Dog. We just did that one.
And with this episode, if we whet your appetite for serial killers, definitely check out our found footage episode we just did. Man Bites Dog, another serial killer and his shenanigans. Check that out. But I'll hand it back over to Mike here.
Yeah, no, perfect. Well done. Perfect, Tom. Perfect. Also, you can see Tom's latest and greatest here. Oh, I didn't put it on the latest for the latest. There we go. For the home base is on YouTube, our YouTube channel here at FirstLastNerdom. And you can see, like Tom was saying, go check out the shorts. He is our shorts, the master creator of all the shorts that we do. Go check out the last one he did on talk about Space Ghost. But you're
not a serial killer, but yeah.
Well, yeah, no, not a serial killer, but definitely a force to be reckoned with for sure. But aren't you also on Reddit as well, my friend?
Well, yes, I lurk the halls of Reddit with my steely knife. No, yeah, I tried to. Actually, Reddit knifes me in the back a few times with their not letting me post. Yeah. But yeah, if you I'll try to find a subreddit for Hannibal and post there. But so if you came over from Reddit, hello, Reddit individuals. But but yeah, I lurk around there and post anywhere that'll have me. That won't delete my post. I'm or ban me. I'm also on X where I haven't been banned yet, and I promote our stuff. If you refresh, I just did uh, 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 the latest video or link for our Man by Stock. So it's up to date and
Made
everything.
by stock.
But yeah, yep, Man by Stock. But yeah, I promote our stuff there. So if you want to know what our latest and greatest video is, just check me out there. I also promote if I find a book or something physical media thing that I like, I'll post about it. Like my recent acquisition of a Joe Hill signed copy. You could get your own at Barnes and Nobles. I believe they still have some copies. Once they sell out, I think they're gone. So definitely check that out. And I'm not being paid by Barnes and Noble, by the way. But yeah, Mike, you have some socials as well.
Yeah, I too am also. I join you as well on. Although I am, I have my thing set to private. We'll see how long that lasts. On X,
You're a little bashful. You're a
well,
little shy, but
I bounce back and forth on the only thing I'm solidly on for sure, full frontal, is on YouTube when we do these videos. That's where I prefer to
whoa,
do it.
yeah.
But I did say that, didn't I? But like Tom said, I too am on.
Exposed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exposed man bites dog. But
Man by Stock.
or wackiness here. Yeah, I too am on X, ApeIt_Ink. I also do long form thing there too on ApeIt.Ink. But to go into our channel's content, that's the back behind the scenes we don't want to show. But we do want to show Hannibal
Oopsie.
here. This show. So real quick, this really had the feeling of Fringe. Of just the it just had a feel of not the same content, obviously, because Fringe is like this is a sci-fi thing, and Hannibal's more traditional, set in our universe. You know, like the only thing extraordinary about him is the fact that he's a killer, super smart genius killer that borders on the supernatural. Sometimes you could argue, but in this world that we see, it's Hannibal. And it just reminded me of, I think, because The Fringe ended in 2013, and there was a certain, and it was made by Fox. So who made this? That's what I wanted to get in, because it felt like I kind of felt like it was NBC.
Yeah, it is NBC.
That's what
Yeah,
I
it's
thought. That's what I thought. Yeah.
right. It was NBC trying to get into sort of the feel of streaming before they got into streaming. I think this show is probably kind of a victim of its cancellation of being right a few centimeters before its time. You know, it was right on the cusp. It should have been a streaming show. I mean, it's built like one. It really you really don't it didn't fit on NBC. I mean, yeah, right after Friends, you got Hannibal. No, wrong time. But yeah, it just didn't. It's a violent and very dark show. You don't think of it as primetime NBC, and that's maybe why it didn't work there. I think it would work much better as a streaming show, but it found its home on. I think NBC was trying to be a little bit more on the edge. They wanted to kind of rope back in the viewers from Netflix. Hey, we're edgy too. And I think at the time the person running NBC was friends with the showrunner for this,
Yeah.
Bryan Fuller, and so that's why it got roped in on here. But yeah, I think it was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Or it probably would have ran for much more seasons than it got. But go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you're right. That you put words around what I was thinking essentially for that thing. But when you can't stop watching this thing. Like this is just kind of play really hard to the title of our show here, binge worthy, obviously, but
Mhm.
it is just such high quality. I mean, it would have. It obviously it. I don't have any connective tissue with this aside from like knowing some things a little bit about here and there. Aside from obviously
Yeah.
watching the first three, and
Hmm.
newsflash, I watched I went up to episode 5. Uh, and I will
Nice.
continue on anyway after this, whether we
Yeah.
do anything with it or not. Well, it's just extra
Right.
bonus on top of it, but it's just such high
Hmm.
quality that you get with this. Nothing was shitty, nothing was short. I didn't feel. I'm used to coming into like the Hannibal Lecter universe from different angles and different, people. Yeah, okay,
Hmm.
there's the iconic, obviously Anthony Hopkins version. There's these different versions of him
Hmm.
that work very
Yeah.
well. You accept it. I accept it, and it works for me. I would guess, whether it's,
Yeah.
anyway, I'll
Yeah.
let you take over.
Yeah. But yeah, I came to this. Yeah, I was all in on the show. I've been a fan of Thomas Harris. I think the writer and his stuff. I was first introduced to Hannibal. Not with everybody else. Most people picked up on it with which we call it Silence of the Lambs. I was in on Manhunter. The original Manhunter was adaptation of Red Dragon, in which Michael Mann, that we all love here, he directed that one. In that version of Hannibal Lecter was done by Brian Cox, excellent actor. I think that was my favorite version of Hannibal when I saw Silence of the Lambs. I thought I wasn't completely won over by Anthony Hopkins. I know everybody loves Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal. I'm the curmudgeon that says, he's a little hammy in it, a little hammy, with all yeah, it didn't quite work for me. So my favorite again is Brian Cox. Was at the time. Now he's in heavy competition with Mads Mikkelsen. But yeah, I think after I saw Silence of the Lambs, that's when I read the books, and I absolutely love the Hannibal books, Red Dragon, Silence of the Lambs. And then that was it at the time. And then they came out with Hannibal.
Right.
It just as an aside, we'll get definitely deep into the show, but Hannibal was an interesting book. It's almost like I think it's Thomas Harris's reaction to how people reacted to Silence of the Lambs. They absolutely loved Hannibal. They wanted more of Hannibal. They thought he was a great character and everything. And I think
Right.
Hannibal was Thomas Harrison saying, "Okay, you love this guy. Well, I'm going to give you him full force. You're going to see all the nasty ugliness that's all in on Hannibal on that one." And people were a bit taken aback by Hannibal, and they didn't know what they wanted, and they got it. So I think it's kind of fun. Hannibal was really a fun book because of that. And then he also did Hannibal Rising, and so yeah, no, I saw they did remake Red Dragon as Red Dragon, and that one was kind of less successful. So there's
Yeah, it's the
there's
prequel.
been a different, yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
that's why I say so. If you, whether your diehard thing favorite is, Silence of the Lambs, and that's it for you. That's your
Hmm.
version, or Manhunter even more. I'm surprised we haven't covered that one. That one
Hmm.
begs us to to
Yeah,
that among many
cover.
many 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 films, which I'm sure, so long as this is fun for me and Tom, and it has been, and it will be, we'll keep doing this. There's so many more other movies that we haven't even touched on, like what, but in this
Yeah.
universe that is, the Silence of the Lambs universe or whatever. I
Mhm.
really liked Red Dragon. Some people didn't. Did I think it was the most amazing one? No, but did I? It's kind of like Prometheus. I got my money's worth. I saw it in the theater and I enjoyed it. I was happy to pay the ticket,
Mhm.
and I got what I want. I got mine out of it. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the most important thing. But if you come at this with a much more relaxed kind of understanding of the universe, I only got
Mhm.
more added depth from it. And I haven't
Yeah.
read all the books. whatever. I don't claim
Mhm.
that, but like you were saying, like you were laying out.
I have.
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah, and then they also did Hannibal Rising, which there's a movie of that as well. But yeah, so the movies are kind of hit and miss.
Right.
Mostly hits, some misses. But so I'm deeply entrenched in the Hannibal universe, and so but coming to the show, there could have been trepidation, but there wasn't for me because Bryan Fuller was in charge of this as the showrunner, and I loved his other shows. He also did like Wonderfall and the show Pushing Daisies, which had a good mix of the weird with the humor and everything. Now this is obviously a much darker project, but I was very excited to see what he would do with it, and was very surprised and pleased when I first saw this series. Yeah, I couldn't believe I was watching this on NBC. This show is such a rich tapestry of different things. Um, but yeah, in Mads Mikkelsen, I hadn't really had seen him in much, but I'd heard that he was a great actor, and I was very excited to see his portrayal of Hannibal. And he almost like I think for me he sort of circumvents and kind of overshadows Anthony Hopkins' portrayal. Like I said, I feel Anthony Hopkins' portrayal was a little ham-fisted at times, a little scene chewing, whereas Mads, he kind of sinks into this character and is kind of slithers around. There's like this darkness to him, although there's this appeal to him as well. Um, and and also Hugh Dancy, as you said in the introduction, plays Will Graham, his protagonist. Now
Mhm.
this show takes place. This isn't adapted from anything, although if you listen to the commentary on the first episode, Bryan Fuller takes a lot of the dialogue from Red Dragon and puts it into the series. The
Pro-
first 2.5 seasons of this is everything that happens before Red Dragon. So the second half of the third season is their adaptation of Red Dragon. So this takes place. This is all that pre stuff, everything that was kind of mentioned from the past in Red Dragon about how Will Graham and Hannibal Lecter meets. It's all there, and so you don't know what happens, but you're anticipating what happens because you know what happens afterwards. So this is before everybody knows that Hannibal Lecter is Hannibal Lecter, and so they're working with him to try to track down serial killers. They don't know he's the actual one of the serial killers.
that that's probably why I love this so much, because it was not far off from Red Dragon, because I really enjoyed that that movie. And yeah, well, just the quality, just something like this being, it was ahead of its time. And just the quality like it is really good. Sometimes you look at these people that could easily be on any movie set that they wanted. Laurence Fishburne, Gillian Anderson, Hugh Dancy. He's not like a huge one out there, but he's got Mads Mikkelsen for sure.
He's everywhere.
Yeah. Well,
Mads is
obviously Bryan
everything.
Fuller has he's got his bona fides, his
Yep.
chops,
Yep. Yep.
but it's
He did.
just
He did go on from this to do Star Trek Discovery. Don't not everybody hits out of the park every time. So
right,
just
right.
so you know.
And he also had some, he had some Voyager. He's not. He knows his
Mhm.
craft. He knows he's not dumb.
Yep.
He's not.
Mhm.
He's not shitty.
Right.
He's not a retard.
Right.
You know,
No, he's definitely one of my
he's the real
favorites.
deal.
But yeah,
Well, it's a
yeah.
solid. It's
So
a solid storyline. It's got me hooked.
yeah,
Shit,
this
we didn't even
the
really touch on the first three fucking episodes. Sorry, we're talking about in generalities, but
Mhm.
anyway, going back to this thing, sorry, I'm fawning over it. The first three episodes establish the core dynamic, right? So I'll kind
Mhm.
of re-tee it up to you and see where you want to go.
Yeah. So this is in they got the rights to do this through Dino De Laurentiis, who has the rights to Red Dragon, Hannibal, and Hannibal Rising. They don't have the rights to Silence of the Lambs, which is owned by a different company. So everything that's in Silence of the Lambs they didn't have access to. So some of the characters have been that are in that project have been renamed in the series. But yeah, so this again is a prequel to Red Dragon, although it does adapt certain elements. Obviously, Red
Right.
Dragon talks about what happens in this, so they do have a kind of a loose framework to work from, but they're filling in the gaps of the history that we didn't actually get to see. So we get to see Will Graham and the whole thing about him. We get the opening scene of the first episode is him kind of on the crime scene, sort of recreating it in his mind. There's sort of wipes that goes through his screen, and that's just absolutely taken exactly the way they show him recreating it is how it's described in the Red Dragon book on his
Hmm.
method of kind of reconstructing things, is sort of becoming the killer and the sort of the slow wipes of images that he sees. And so he gets pulled in on a serial killer. Also, Laurence Fishburne as Jack Crawford. Scott Glenn plays him in Silence of the Lambs, and there's sort of a connective tissue there because both Laurence Fishburne and Scott Glenn was in Apocalypse Now. So Laurence said that he was very happy with being able to play Jack Crawford. He calls Scott Glenn his uncle because he was somewhat younger than everybody on Apocalypse Now. So he kind of saw all these actors as uncles on that. So he was very excited about stepping into Scott Glenn's shoe and trying to do a good job like Scott Glenn did in Silence of the Lambs. But so Jack Crawford is the head of the FBI unit to track down serial killers, and he pulls in Will Graham. Even though Will Graham is a bit of a damaged character, he's as I think he says he's on the spectrum with a little bit of Asperger's. So his
Matter of
so,
factly, yeah, no, they
yeah.
totally drop right into it. No, it makes sense. I mean, I'm laughing, but
Yeah.
it's there.
So yeah, so I think some of our nerds out there can relate. So a very not the step in the shoes hero superhero kind of character there. Very relatable. Like I said, a kind of damaged guy that is looking to save the innocent. At one point in the opening episode, you see how he tries to save all these wayward dogs, these stray dogs. He's
Right, I
always
did. Yeah.
so maybe trying to find that balance of him dealing with stepping into these minds of these serial killers, trying to balance it out with the innocence of the creatures that he can save. But yeah, it's the first two episodes are him tracking down two separate serial killers, and each one of them kind of teases that it might have been Hannibal Lecter, but we learned that it's actually a different serial killer than Hannibal. The cool thing about this show is if you're not cued in, if you've never seen anything and you just start watching this and don't realize that Hannibal is a serial killer, you could watch it and actually be surprised. The clues are there. They're teasing the audience members that know what's going on. They're endlessly teasing them anytime that Hannibal's making a dish. You're always wondering, is this a person? Are they? Is he feeding Will Graham or Jack Crawford? A little bit of human in with the dish. There's that little teasing, but if you're not clued in, they also play it in that Hannibal can be kind of a sympathetic character in this. Although by episode 3, he's not quite what he claims to be. But yeah, you do get to see Hannibal as a psychiatrist, and the very fun thing about it is watching Hannibal's reactions to different things, because you see that Hannibal is constantly observing Will Graham and everybody else, and is setting things up and seeing how things play out. He's manipulating what's going on, and he's kind of playing it on the fly. When someone finds out that he's kind of manipulating things, he kind of plays with that as well. And
Oh, he doesn't care.
he kind of yeah, he
Yeah.
thinks on his feet, and it's all a game to him. It's all fun. He's enjoying himself. He's in the fact that Will Graham is endlessly torturing himself about what's going on. Hannibal's having a fun time.
Right.
Absolute ball.
Well, that's what, and you expect that from him, right? You expect super
Yeah.
evil
Yeah.
genius, essentially, like,
Mhm.
this, you can't help it. And then, of course, these other people draw you in too with their personalities, and just knowing what is up and down, and having an active case is the thing that makes it relevant. It just,
Yeah.
it's really
Yeah.
good. So I'll be sticking around too. Well, and I didn't even see how many. I didn't even see what era. I kind of have an idea of like how many episodes like total
Yep.
there are.
So it's three seasons, 13 episodes a season. So that's
That's
what,
nothing.
39.
That's actually perfect.
So
That's
yeah.
like the perfect amount of like having that. Oh, but there's one more. You get to 10, 11, 12, especially toward the end.
Yep.
And if
So
when they get really good, sometimes they even cut them shorter than that. But no, that's good. No, that's not bad at
yep.
all.
Yeah, and just to as a person that's seen all three seasons, yeah, the big thing about binge worthy that we do, we're rewatching all these shows, and
Right.
yeah, I immediately want to watch the rest of the season, but I know next week we got to talk about another binge worthy. So yeah, they're my stack of rewatch shows have expanded to the point where I don't have the time for it, but I want to have time for it. But yeah, watching this, I really wanted to binge it all the way through again. It was so enjoyable, and once it's each episode's only like 43 minutes, so as soon as you finish one episode, you're like,
It's
I
right
gotta
into
watch,
the.
I gotta watch another one. Yeah.
It's set up just like, kind of almost like it was set up for streaming, honestly. But that's
Hmm.
because it's episodic TV, and when it's episodic TV is this teed up the very first binge watching phenomenons that we all came into know to love. I think one of them for me was Lost, but they're episodic like that, so it works very well.
Yeah, and so the first two and a half season is all kind of pre books, and then like I said, the second half of the third season is the adaptation of Red Dragon. It has a little bit of Hannibal Rising and Hannibal in it as well.
Okay.
But the projected, if they had been able to go on, the fourth season would have been an adaptation of Silence of the Lambs, although they didn't have the rights to the film version. So, from
Right.
my understanding, they if they couldn't work out a deal, they wouldn't have been able to use Clarice. So it would have been they would have to create a different character of a different name that was similar. But either way, obviously that didn't happen, so they didn't have to worry about that. But season four would have been that, and then the season would have been an adaptation of Hannibal, and then the sixth season would be kind of wrapping everything up. They saw it as a six-season
Hmm.
series, and whether or not they could have adapted those two would have been interesting. But I really wanted to get to that sixth season to see how the further adventures of Hannibal and how they kind of wrap things up. But never get to that point. However, I will say, those that are worried about starting the series, and then since it got canceled season three, is that a good stopping point? Did they just leave it on the cliffhanger? I They probably saw the writing on the wall, and so they did create a satisfying ending for the third season. So don't worry. I think
Okay.
you'll be very satisfied, especially the fact that there is Silence of the Lambs, there's Hannibal. There's those other movies, so if you wanted to know what goes on in those, they're there. And then you do get their adaptation of Red Dragon, so you kind of see maybe what they would have done with maybe Silence of the Lambs. I know after the fact, they almost got a deal with Amazon. Amazon has the streaming rights to the series, but I think it's also on Shudder at this point. But they Amazon had the rights, so they were trying to make a deal to continue the series,
Mhm.
like with Netflix and with Amazon. Amazon wanted to go right away. They wanted to jump into the fourth season. Bryan Fuller smartly wanted to have some preparation time to get the stories in line to do it properly. But Amazon was like, go, go, go. We're going to do it, we're going to do it now, and he didn't want to do that. And then Netflix was interested, but since Amazon had streaming rights to it, they eventually just pulled out. So we didn't ever get to see a fourth season. I don't know if they're still trying, but at this point, I don't think it's going to happen. At one point, they wanted to
Huh.
do like a movie sequel and adapt Silence of the Lambs. That would have been interesting with these characters. But yeah, if they ever got around to doing more, that would be amazing. But as time goes on, and the further away they get, it's kind of hard to see them going back to this. But for the three seasons that you have, you've got excellent writing. This is one of the most well written series around. Maybe some of the logic is a little iffy, but the psychology and the interplay between the characters is amazing. Also, a lot of stuff nowadays with horror movies and darker subjects. Everything's shot so dark it's hard to see. Whereas
Oh
this
yeah,
movie
yeah.
or this series is very dark, but it's very bright and has some really wonderful colors. I was always kind of rewatching those first three episodes. I was just thinking, it takes place in autumn, and those beautiful autumn colors, and the clothing is all bright and kind of beautiful. So everything kind of has that kind of beautiful sheen to it. Pictured against all these grotesque but almost beautiful things as well, like humans, like impaled on these horns, these antler horns, which is grotesque but almost beautiful at the same time. They really were able to play around with the
Well,
beauty and the grotesque and the
it's a
humorous and the
tableau.
dark.
It's a
Yeah.
tableau. I mean, that's what these things are. I mean,
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah, absolutely. And I love how far that they were able to push NBC to allow this to go on. Now since I'm the physical media guy, I got to show off my beautiful Blu-ray of the first season of Hannibal. I have the other two seasons as well. These are
oh man,
this, and you did say you saw the fourth episode. Now,
yeah.
when it originally aired, they didn't air the fourth episode. They took it off the air before it could be viewed. At that time, 2013, I think they took it off because of Sandy Hook killing. It deals with kidnapping of children, so they thought it wasn't very sensitive to show that episode. So the first time I actually got to see that episode was on this Blu-ray. One of the reasons why I got it.
Hmm.
And also on here, there's director's cuts and producer cuts of particular episodes. I don't know on streaming if they have those full cuts of those episodes, but that may be another reason to get a Blu-ray to get the full unedited versions of the episodes. And I believe that's the same on the other two. There is a commentary track on a few of the episodes, one of them being the first episode. I re-listened to it. I listened to it the first time because I was very fascinated with this series. But yeah, very interesting um commentary. It had has Bryan Fuller on it, the director of the first episode, David Slade, and Will Graham himself, Hugh Dancy, which is, yeah, Hugh Dancy is British. So it's very interesting listening to Will Graham talk with a British accent in the episode or in the commentary of the episode. Very, very kind of surreal. It's like, okay, oh, okay, he is British. Okay, cool. But yeah, definite recommend on that if you could pick it up. I did check to see if it was available still on Amazon, but I'm sure you could probably find it somewhere
Yeah, I'll pull it up
out
here in a minute
there
when I go
on
back to the
the yeah,
sharing. Yeah, I found this great,
sharing is
yeah,
king.
this great website with the image, just really good. Anyway, you can really see the artwork
Mm-hmm,
that they did. The I guess this person,
mm-hmm.
this guy, Brooke Palmer, that must be the still. Anyway, it's really good work there.
Yeah,
But
the photographer. Yeah.
yeah, it was. Uh, there we go.
So yeah,
More purchase options. So yeah.
watch with Shutter. But yeah, so yeah, one of the reasons for physical media is you don't have to figure out, oh, what? No, that's the movie, not the show. Yeah, that's the confusing part. Yeah, you got the movie called Hannibal, but you also have the TV series. But yeah, if you get the physical media, okay, so they got the DVD, they got the Blu-ray. So yeah, looks like that's the British
German,
version. You got
yeah,
that,
something
yeah,
like
or German. Yeah, yeah. I'm sure you could find it somewhere out there. But yeah, the cool thing about having physical media, you don't have to worry about what streaming service do I am I subscribed to the streaming service? Where can I find that? But yeah, if you have it on physical media, it's on your shelf. You just have to find it. Like me, I had to search down where my copy of Hannibal, and it's worth getting on Blu-ray instead of DVD because it's such a beautiful show. Very crisp, very beautiful. Much yeah, it's yeah. The each image you could tell that they painstakingly figured out how to photograph each scene. Everything is sort of interplay between Will Graham's mind and what he's seeing. So there's a very much, and he's also having these visions of these things that aren't happening in reality. That's sort of the manifestation of his subconscious that plays out kind of beautifully through these sort of almost dream sequences or sort of these mindscapes that he has.
right.
And all the actors are great. You got again Hugh Dancy and Mads Mikkelsen. They chew up the scenery and kind of are the stars of the show. But you also have like I said, Laurence Fishburne. Yeah, I forget the name of the lady that plays the other psychiatrist. She's also in Wonder Falls.
Alana Bloom. Um, maybe not.
I think it's different actors. We can the old internet will tell us, right?
Yeah.
It is Carolina or Caroline
Yeah.
uh
I was saying
Dhavernas.
that
Dhavernas. Yeah,
yeah, I was saying the
the
character
character
name,
name.
but
Alana
yes.
Bloom. Yeah, yeah. There you go. Yeah, and the other ones Hetton Parker playing Beverly Katz. She's a interesting character. Also loved that one of the alumni of
Yeah,
Kids in the Hall,
Dhavernas.
Scott
Yeah.
Thompson. Scott Thompson plays Price, one of the crime scene investigators. It's always fun seeing one of the Kids in the Hall guys in
Even
there.
though it's not that right. Yeah. Oh man, that takes me
And
back.
if you stick with this show later in the season, you have Gillian Anderson as
I noticed that.
um Hannibal Lecter's psychiatrist.
Which explains probably why I'm, getting closer and closer. Because I saw that she was on the show and I was like, oh yeah, I love her. Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
she's wonderful in it, and there's some connective tissue. She was up for the role of Clarice in the Hannibal movie from 2001, and then also she said that she based her character Scully in X-Files on Clarice. Her performance, she kind of
I've
modeled
heard
it
that.
after Jodie
Yeah.
Foster's Clarice. So there's that. And just as a teaser for next week, our plans for binge worthy is we're going to cover some X-Files episodes. So our favorites. So there you go.
Yes, sir, we will. Yep. Yeah, no, I don't think I could say anything more, but this is it's just you got to go watch it. I mean, there's nothing to hate on it. There's nothing that sucks about it. Everybody, it's a shit. It's not trying to be a movie. It's not what it is. It's a longer form episodic thing. It's done perfectly. It reminds me a lot of the early days of when you have a really good episodic show like SVU. SVU is like one of those that that it just you go through. That's a little bit more formulaic than this, but this one this isn't so hard on that formula, but it's still a formula that works very well. So
yeah, and it's very hard to do it's hard to do a long form uh, show that deals with horror. There's because to sustain the horror aspect of something is very difficult to do, but over 13 episodes. But I think there's a this show does a wonderful job of kind of sustaining that horror element to it. But also you've got the thriller aspect with it, but it really plays on the horror, and that was very much in the mind of Bryan Fuller as he made it in the first episode. There's a scene where Will Graham finds one of the victims in the bed, in their own bed. The serial killer has returned his victim to her house and in her own bed, and he had it framed up just like a scene from Halloween, and he has all this. And also in making the series, he said that he kind of posited the thought he had David Lynch in his mind, and he goes, how would David Lynch do a take on Hannibal as a serial killer?
right.
And so the show really plays with the visuals and sound. The sound element is very prominent in it. He also had very much in mind um uh the Stanley Kubrick was in his thoughts, and also he had very much in his mind one of our favorites, Dario Argento. So it has sort of that giallo kind of a feel to it and look to it as well. So he definitely had a good mix of directors in mind.
Well, I just realized that this has the hallmark. One of the reasons why I like it so much is because of the world building, the universe building that it does, that you get with every story as it's told. You get to a pretty deep tapestry when it works very well, which is what I love. Which is also what happened with the French as well, and other obviously with Lost as well. Even more so with Lost, it just draws you more into the show, especially when it's got that mysterious edge to it. But anything with mystery or popping it in and out, you're right. I can see the aspects of Dario Argento and Giallo kind of unrequited mystery that just has to be solved, or has to be or elongated, or that it just gives you more. It gives you find the answer, and there's just more questions. So.
Yeah, and there's also it also has a kind of a fever dream aspect to it as well.
That's true too.
It's it has this sort of realistic edge, but it also kind of fades over into a fever dream as well. And just to kind of whet your appetite, it starts off kind of traditionally, but the show gets crazier and crazier as it goes along.
But
the
but
third
not
season is sort of almost operatic.
but not in a cheap way, like where they like where they'll have like a whole like, oh, it's a dream sequence, and it's like, oh, we're just kidding.
We're joshing,
not like that at all. Right.
Yeah, a lot of times with this, if it is a dream sequence and it comes out, it's much worse than what was going on in the dreams. It's much more horrific. Waking up with the blood on your hands, sort of thing. But yeah, no, it's definitely binge worthy. Definite thumbs up. And then we don't do kind of a rating scale, although 8.5 out of 10 is very good for IMDb. although I'd probably edge it a little bit more to the 9. But yeah, it's a very solid, one of my favorite series of all times. I would put it over Silence of the Lambs, although I'm sure there's people that would fight me on that. But yeah, not to that just shows you the quality of the show, because Silence of the Lambs is a damn fine movie in and of itself. But yeah, I don't know.
Well,
Mads Mikkelsen is my Hannibal
it
at this point.
it is a completely different take on like a psychological thriller, or psychological horror. It has the art house kind of thing down, aesthetics
Hmm.
anyway. It's got the complex character studies.
Hmm.
It's got the slow burn storytelling.
Hmm.
Um, it's boundary pushing. These are all the same things that you would get with a like a true detective. Season 1
Hmm.
or through,
Hmm.
I say avoid 4.
Hmm.
Go watch
Yeah.
it. Go see it. Which Jodie Foster's in as well, too. By the way, so there's a little bit of connective tissue. I mean, it's not bad. It's not really good. It's not really bad either. But anyway, those elements that I said before are exactly what you get with this. This is not though.
Hmm.
It's not your traditional procedural kind of like Law and Order like that I mentioned was
Yeah,
for. They're
it's
only
it's anti Law and Order.
right.
Yeah.
The only thing that they have in common are that they're episodic. You know, like they're whereas
Yeah.
like that where Law and Order is
Mhm.
very cookie cutter. This you
Yeah.
know doesn't have
Yeah,
the
this
fast
is
pacing, and light
yeah.
entertainment like where you can kind of just go off. And if you wander off for more than 5 or 10 minutes, you're gonna come back. You're not gonna know what's going on. You got to have it kind of,
Yeah.
unless you hear it in the background and you're already familiar with kind of like what's going on. Then it might be a little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah, and this was made during the golden time for television, 2013. And it got canceled in 2015. So it's during that time where, stuff like Breaking Bad was coming out, just quality entertainment all the way around. And this is 13 episodes. It's not 22 episodes a season. They're boiling it down to the essentials. They're getting everything. There's no like Mike was saying, there's no throwaway episodes. You can't just skip one, although they
No,
did skip episode 4 originally, because of things. But yeah, definitely worth checking out. I think that's what more can be said.
indeed,
Definite thumbs up. And
absolutely. Well, I've been Mike.
I'm Tom. Keep away from those serial killers, yo.
Absolutely, not fire.
It would, yeah, it's cinema.